Framework nuclear deal struck between Iran and 6 world powers will have repercussions across the Arab world and the Middle East. A re-emerging Egypt supports the Sunni Arab Gulf states against Shia Iranian influence. CCTV's Yasser Hakim is joining us from Cairo. Yasser, why are the Gulf states and Egypt still showing concern toward Iran?
The history of the Iranian policies of interference in different conflicts in the Middle East is a cause of concern from the Arab nations concerning Iran. But the US President Barack Obama has moved quickly to ease those concerns by saying that the US, in spite of its deal with Iran and the nuclear deal, it's sticking to its policy of protecting the Gulf Arab states from interference, and also has called on the leaders of the Gulf kingdoms to meet in Washington very soon to discuss moving forward together. And here's more on why these concerns from the Arab states towards Iran.
The Egyptian-Iranian rift dates back to the Khomeini revolution in the 1970s, when ousted Shah Pahlavi took refuge in Egypt. There were several failed attempts for reconciliation in the last few years. However, relations worsened as chaos reigned in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and now Iran's support to the Houthis in Yemen. Egypt accuses Iran of meddling in these areas. Iran's increasing influence in the region prompted Gulf states to turn to Egypt to co-lead a coalition force on Yemen, and supported an Egyptian initiative to form an Arab joint force. Some expect Iran's latest deal with the West over the nuclear issue could pave the way for more interference in the region and try to weaken Egypt's influence.
US is trying to attract Iran to its side after the nuclear deal, but on the other side, Egypt is regaining its leading role, and an Arab closeness not seen since the 1960s, strengthened by Egypt's presence. So Iran cannot really compete against this.
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said on Saturday that Egypt is committed to protect the Gulf states from any foreign interference. A strong message, analysts say, is aimed at regional powers such as Iran.
Well, the Arab unity and joint force, military force, that is being established now and could happen in the next few months, could also go a long way into helping Arab countries solving their own problems and avoiding interference from regional powers or international powers in Arab affairs or Middle East affairs. And so, concerning Iran as well, there are calls now that more closeness with Iran rather than contradicting policies or going into more rifts with the Iranian side and trying to get all the different political powers together to sit and solve the problems of the Middle East rather diplomatically rather than using force.